All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to another great episode on your favorite political talk show, The Truth with Ben Jokes. Politics as it is serious business because it confers powers on few individuals, sometimes just one person, to make decisions for so many, for millions. So, politics under normal circumstances should be a venture for the best amongst the best of citizens, the most responsible of us. But it is so sad that here in Nigeria, the worst of us are the ones in politics. The thugs, the drunkards, the drug dealers, the certificate forgers. And that is why we have become the poverty capital of the world. Prices of everything skyrocketing. Look at this. Breaking news. Netflix has increased their monthly subscription plan in Nigeria to 8,500 naira starting July 4th, 2025. Ahmed here said Apple Music subscription has increased too. And Afro Connect said, not again. 8,500 naira for Netflix. That is tough, especially with how things already are in the country. Entertainment used to be our escape. Now, even that is becoming luxury. The agenda of the APC is to get Nigerians depressed. Tinubu, WIKE, Wale Edun, Cardoso, and others are playing out Lucifer's script for Nigeria. I tell you, and only Nigerians can stop them. And few hours ago, the drunkard that now constitutes nuisance all over the FCT was reduced to nothing in the most interesting of ways on national TV. Nyesom Wike and his family faced 3 dimensions of humiliation on national TV hours ago. Like I said, politics should be done by the best of us. But unfortunately for us in Nigeria, drunkards have taken over the noble profession. But on this occasion, the chief drunk, the drunken master, Nyesom Wike, was reduced to nothing on national TV. Before I show you details of this top story and how Nigerians reacted, let me quickly show you this video. In this video, one of the coordinators of the Obedient Movement and Peter Obi's spokesman, Tanko Yunusa, brought the Renewed Hope Agenda document out to the open, and he began picking out the items in that document one after the other and asking Nigerians if they have seen any fulfillment in any field. See the video.
That for us to get these issues on the right perspective, and I don't want to be misquoted, that's why I'm going to read. They call it an honest contract for Nigeria. You know, the manifesto of a political party is a social contract in which you sign with the people, because that is what you canvass to the people. And he said they have 3 major issues there. They have relief, recovery, and reforms. Now, number 1, they said they have a decent life for every Nigerian. A decent life for every Nigerian. At the moment, I cannot quantify that particular decent life at the moment. 2, they said they have jobs. 3 million new jobs a year. 3 million jobs a year. That means at this year that we are, that's 2 years, that means you will have had 6 million. Probably Nigerians can be able to assess whether we have 6 million jobs being created. And that, of course, deals with the Nigerian youth especially, because that is the strength of the country. Then there's going to be health care for all. Health care for all. His Excellency Peter Obi visited a hospital very close to the airport here in Abuja. On your way to the airport, just by the left-hand side, there's a village called Tungam Alaji or so. You go to that particular hospital, there's only one nurse, no doctor. The maternity ward and all is completely dilapidated, and that is where he makes some donation of about 20 million naira in an instrumental basis to see he can assist. Just one nurse. Guarantee free education. Guarantee. It is not optional. They said guarantee. At the moment, most of the schools, you can bear me witness. How much do you pay for your child in going to school at the moment, right now? You know how much is it that you pay. Even in the public school, you can assess whether it is free or being made possible for your own by your own payment. Urban renewal and housing. On my way to Zamfara the other day, most of the housing that they said they had, all of them, almost all the rooftop, you can visit some of the rooftop of some of the houses that are being provided. Take a look at indices. It's not rocket science. You can go behind your every state and confirm whether any of these particular housing are being provided for Nigerians as well. Then they said that trickling poverty is safety net for every citizen. Every citizen, the issue of poverty, which is so excruciating at the moment now. I don't know how Nigerians can be able to manage to do Salah. And I know what happened in the last Christmas and all of that. So we are witness to a high level of poverty rates. In fact, interestingly, the northern part of this country is the most worst hit. Talking about Zamfara, Kebbi State, Kano State, and Jigawa State, rated as the highest poverty state in the country, possibly in the world, as the way it is. So I don't see anywhere in which poverty has been alleviated in Nigeria at the moment now. Keeping Nigeria safe, we just saw what happened in Taraba State. Nigerians are being killed like chicken on a daily basis. And even some of the things that are happening as issue of saving, like now, His Excellency Peter Obi just visited Mokwa. We had a flood. Yes, somebody would have said, but probably there was some safety net or being provided or information or guidance being provided before the people were being submerged by that particular flood. Thousands of people have lost their lives.
You saw that. Yunusa Tanko did a good job there, but they should be thankful that it is not someone like me that grabbed that opportunity, because he did not go a step further. He only exposed their failure to meet their promises in each of those areas. But the actual narrative is that they have made each area worse. Not only did they fail to meet the promises to make it better, they have made it extremely worse. For instance, if you promised free education, it is bad enough if you fail to provide that free education. But in this case, the APC worsened the educational sector. School fees that they plan to make free have now doubled and tripled in some cases. From promise of free education to school fees doubling and tripling. Make that make sense. You said you were going to create 3 million jobs in each year, meaning you should have created 6 million jobs after 2 years. You have not only failed to create 6 million jobs after 2 years, millions of jobs have been lost in your 2 years. So it is not just about failing to improve the country, it is about you dragging the country several decades back. And of course, Tanko spoke about Peter Obi's intervention in that hospital very close to the international airport in Abuja. The hospital had been abandoned with just one nurse there, and Peter Obi intervened. And believe it, that is just one of the many hospitals within the FCT that have been abandoned. Yet in this FCT, billions of naira was spent building needless mansions for judges, 35 billion naira spent to renovate the International Conference Center. Yet infrastructure, valid and basic infrastructure, are lacking. Citizens have no access to basic healthcare. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to that video where the drunken master Nyesom Wike and his family were humiliated on air began making the rounds. You have to watch this video patiently and painstakingly with full concentration to the end. Don't miss the details so that you will fully understand and enjoy my reaction. Watch former governor of Rivers State, Rotimi Amaechi, humiliating Nyesom Wike after Wike mentioned his name in his last interview. See the video.
It's not because I'm the best. I had the opportunity, I utilized the opportunity. So when the opportunity came for me to be the Speaker of the Parliament, Dr. Dili and I spoke. He felt it was important I became the Speaker. Okay, I utilized the opportunity and I became the Speaker. The problem is not when you get the opportunity. The problem is what do you do with the opportunity? And God knows that I was one of the best speakers that this country had produced at that material time. I don't know what's happening now. Maybe there are better speakers than I was. But at that time, nobody would deny me the fact that I performed my duty as Speaker, that I was elected to become the chairman of the Speakers Forum. Since I left as chairman of Speakers Forum, I wonder if that Speakers Forum is still in existence. Okay. So again, I became governor by the grace of God, by the grace of Dr. Peter Odili too, and the people of Nigeria, Rivers State, and the judiciary, because it was at the end of the day, the judiciary pronounced me governor. Now, when I was then sworn to the office of the governor, you will ask the question, did you perform? Of course I did.
Well, you would say you performed, wouldn't you? I mean, you're not going to say you didn't perform. I mean, nobody would say
I'm prepared
that.
to ask you to open your phone and call people from River State. 12 people are building flyovers here and making noise. I built 5, 6 flyovers, 6. I built, they are there. And I didn't make noise. I didn't call president to come and commission. I didn't make noise. I built primary schools. Let any other governor who has built primary schools come forward in River State. I built secondary schools that people were calling universities. Two children per room. Two children per room in those schools. And I got an agency in India to come and manage those schools. So they brought science teachers from India and arts teachers from Nigeria.
And what's happened to them now?
Abandoned, vandalized.
That must break your heart.
No, that's why I don't go to River State, because it gives you mental disorder. Now, within that period, we tried to build a new city. We had finished with 24-hour power supply. It was abandoned and vandalized. So I'm not one that, you see, don't give me an assignment, I will deliver. Okay, let's go to ministerial appointment. I began and completed the railway from Lagos to Ibadan. I began and completed the Lekki Deep Sea Port. Completed from beginning. And got it completed by the time I left office. Go to Kano, that's an inland dry port in Kano that I completed. And I told the owner of the inland dry port, you must build a primary and secondary school here to enable these children that run after us when we come, go to school free of charge. And he did that. I commenced the construction of Kano Kaduna. I completed Kaduna to Abuja, which was started by President Goodluck Jonathan. I started the Kano Maradi Railway, and it's going on. So don't give me an assignment, because I will discharge it responsibly. I won't go about abusing people, talking. Maturity. Let me tell you what my second son tells me. We usually have conversations as a family. If you do something that, because currently the current politicians are not ashamed. They don't at all. They don't bother about their name. They don't bother about their character. Now, if you do anything that is wrong, know what my second son will tell me. Dad, you're not the only Amaechi. I am too. So
that's a good point.
Yeah, if you do something that rubs off on the name Amaechi, then it affects all of us.
Absolutely.
But if you do something against your Rotimi, I don't mind that. But unfortunately, you are not just Rotimi. You are Rotimi Amaechi, and there are so many of us who bear the name.
That's a very, you got a wise kid.
Oh, not just him. So for that reason, every member of my family is taught how to behave so that I don't mess up the name Amaechi.
And of course, you are preeminent.
Most people don't care about their name. They don't care about their character. I wonder whether they don't think their children should be ashamed of themselves.
Wow. What a punchline response by Rotimi Amaechi after WIKE called him out for his birthday speech, saying he's only hungry to grab power because Amaechi spoke for hungry Nigerians. Now, WIKE was disgraced in 3 fundamental ways in that interview. First of all, his lack of maturity as a human being was further heralded by Rotimi Amaechi, and that is very shameful. And the claim by WIKE that he is Rivers' best ever governor was trashed here in that interview. Good, lofty projects that were left for him, he completely destroyed, and he never created any job in his 8 years in Rivers State. He was only doing projects for show, flyover, calling people to come and commission because he wanted to run for the office of the president. Shameless man. And secondly, Amaechi showed that WIKE is a disgrace to his family, and that is true. Everywhere in Nigeria today, including within the APC and Tinubu camp, the name WIKE represents chaos, trouble, strife, argument, disorder, lies, and everything bad. So the man has only succeeded in making negative name for himself and his family. And finally, Amaechi showed that he has raised better seeds, better sons, better children than WIKE, children that are wise, children that are not drug addicts. because he's saying that his son calls him to order when he's not doing the right thing, because Amaechi also has many flaws. But he said his son calls him to order, and WIKE does not have a single son wise enough to know that the guy is a disgrace to humanity, because all his children are drug addicts. But then Nigerians came into the comment section and began to confirm the words of Rotimi Amaechi against that of Nyesom Wike. Let's take some of the tweet reactions. This tweet here from Icon Sports says, Amaechi's primary school standard was top-notch. All had standard sport facilities. Refuse were strictly packed and collected at night. He even disguised to checkmate filling stations hoarding fuel and locking them down. Wow. And Charlie responded. He said the primary healthcare centers were good, full complement of staff and necessary motivations. But WIKE has been deceiving Nigerians that he was the best. And Kuti here says that thing about the children is so important. If some people be my papa, I go don go court, swear affidavit, change name. WIKE is a disgrace to his family and his children, but the children have become drug addicts, so they don't even know. And Foundation here says, you are the best governor Rivers has ever had. No competition. Theodore Basil says, no capping. This man did a lot in Rivers. And A Square says, what he said was the truth. All those schools were abandoned by that drunkard in Abuja. He might not be 100% perfect, but you can't compare him with that Agberu. For 8 years, that drunkard didn't employ anyone. This guy can never be compared to that drunkard, though. This guy is saying that Rotimi Amaechi, though not perfect, is far ahead of Nyesom Wike. But of course, somebody came up and tried to support WIKE, but they came down heavily on him. I think he's from Rivers State, and others from Rivers State attacked him. He said, only fools will compare WIKE's achievements to that of foolish Amaechi. WIKE totally transformed Rivers like his personal projects. Almost all the entrance roads to Rivers State was bad. When it comes to impactful projects, no one comes close to WIKE in Nigeria. But Allen Akujagu replied him. He said, I am not sure you are from Rivers, but I must say that I'm embarrassed at your big age and you can't be sincere. Let me ask you, how many employment opportunity did WIKE create? Shake my head. Optimus Prime replied. He said, you know nothing about Rivers State. WIKE transformed what? Flyover governor. Two people from Rivers State against one who is probably from Rivers State too, and they are shutting him down, saying Rotimi Amaechi was by far a better governor than Nyesom Wike. I have always known this. How can this drunkard be parading himself as the best thing that has ever happened to Rivers State? Somebody who is not in power and is asking for almost 60% of the state's resources. So you begin to ask yourself, when he was in power, how much was he taking for himself? And if he was taking that much, how much was left for him to really make those impacts? That is the question you should ask yourself. And because he was stealing so much from the allocation, that was why he was not able to create any job. In 8 years, he couldn't do any recruitment. So all those projects we were seeing, what he was doing was he would just, gather money, do one thing so that he can call governors, call other people to come. They say WIKE is working. He was just deceiving us. And now he has been brutally exposed. No wonder the people of Rivers State were quick to support Fubara against him, because the impact he has been making noise about, he didn't really make. Anyway, make I leave am here. Make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because now because of una, now I dey here. So don't go away. Don't go.